Mondli, good evening. Thanks for your time on ENCA. Can you feel at the moment, as I talk to you, that you have a mask on your face, or could it be that you don't have it and you're just not aware?
No, I definitely can feel that I do not have one on. And in fact, and I think that's a very important place to start. Because, when you go to a shopping mall or any public place, when you get out of your car, the first thing that you actually do notice is whether you have a mask or not. Because a mask is a very intrusive thing. When you leave home and you're going for a walk, and you have it on or you don't have it on, there is no way you cannot not know that you don't have a mask on. So the pseudo excuse that the Premier made last night about the fact that it fell off and she didn't notice was actually very nonsensical.
Yeah.
There is no way you may not know that you cannot know that you do not have this very intrusive thing that does not allow you to breathe, that does not allow you to talk properly, that you do not know that it's on.
So we've got a statement, Mondli, that comes from the Premier's office where, once again, she apologizes. She says she has written to President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Deputy President, and even the Mthembu family apologizing again. She says that she has signed a statement and has accepted the necessary fine, the statement of guilt, that is. And she also says, to demonstrate her remorse, she has decided to buy about 1,000 masks that will be distributed in Emalahleni as part of the public education and awareness campaign to demonstrate the serious nature of COVID-19. Is this enough, this explanation, which, by the way, is part 2 explanation, because they clearly see that the first explanation didn't work?
Yeah, you know what, the thing that we would say is that it is not enough. Because, in every speech that the president has given, whether it's one of those family meetings or whether it is a speech that he makes in public, he has always spoken about one thing, about the measures that we must take, and the mask is always one of the things that he speaks about. In every speech that Jackson Mthembu ever made, and every press conference that Jackson Mthembu ever officiated over, and Jackson Mthembu always spoke about the mask. So she could not have been oblivious to the messaging. And she could not have been oblivious to the fact that as a leader, she must demonstrate to the people that how important it is to take all those measures.
Yeah.
So the two apologies are nonsensical, as I said earlier. But, she has admitted guilt without actually having to be arrested. So that we must accept. She has taken that step, and I think it's a big step. We're all paying for blood, and we would expect that she step aside, and everybody was going to say she must step aside, but we live in South Africa 2020-21, and we know that people have done worse things and have not stepped aside as a result of that. And so that is not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we accept the fact that she has actually acknowledged her guilt, that she has actually taken steps to rectify the wrong that she did yesterday. And we can scream and shout and foam at the mouth. But I think yesterday she displayed a lack of leadership, but today she actually did something that ANC leaders do not normally do. Yeah. So I think let's accept that when we move on, and I think it must be a message to all ANC leaders to actually take, and leaders in general in society, but particularly leaders in the governing party who are supposed to be leading this fight, to actually do the right thing, and also not only around this issue of masking and the battle against COVID-19, but beyond that, and that take responsibility for the wrong that you have done.
Yeah, and I want to pick up from there, Mondli. I want to pick up from the expectations of ANC leaders. I mean, you have a leader of government in Mpumalanga here, a premier who sits, by the way, on the Provincial Command Council on COVID-19, violating the regulations in full view of her colleagues, in full view of South Africans, in full view of law enforcement officers. What do you think is behind this attitude? Because we've seen it with some other leaders of the ANC in government, this idea that they can do as they please because the rules must be different for them.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I think this goes beyond just the fight against COVID-19. It goes beyond the regulations. It is the sense of impunity that developed in the governing party over particularly the past 10 years, that they can get away with a lot, whether it is on issues of impropriety, corruption, stealing, and also just in terms of just breaking general rules and not adhering to rules that whether you are asked to appear in Parliament to account for 1, 2, 3, they take it upon themselves that, no, I'm not going to appear and I'm not going to answer that question. So what she was doing yesterday was actually just in keeping with the culture that's there in the governing party. And until the governing party actually begins to enforce those rules among its leaders, you cannot expect society to change. You cannot expect the so-called renewal in society to happen. You cannot expect people in Soweto and other places to start paying for electricity and by basic rules and norms of a normal society or the normal society that we are trying to create. So I think she was just purely, what she did yesterday was a manifestation of what the ANC and the people who run this country have become.
Yeah, and a lot of people have asked, what is really more insulting here? Her violating the regulations or the initial explanation that she has given that I just couldn't feel that I don't have the mask? Mondli Makhanya, thank you so much for your time. You want to come in there?
Thank you. No, I was just going to say, Deputy Minister of State Security today, Zizi Godwa at the memorial, said that she insulted the memory of Jackson Mthembu. She insulted the memory of Jackson Mthembu, and she insulted all of us by not wearing the mask. She insulted Jackson Mthembu, but by lying and telling that stupid excuse yesterday, she insulted the intelligence of South Africans.
Yeah, certainly.
But as I said, I'm glad that she actually took the action that she did today, and I think it should serve an example to other ANC leaders that actually step forward before you actually have forced to. And respond to public pressure and respond to public opinion and actually do the right thing.
All right, City Press Editor-in-Chief, Mondli Makhanya, I appreciate your time on ENCA this evening.